Welcome back to the Hawk's Nest. Got a special guest today. Somebody who was a brother, business partner, was a teammate. My guy Zeke. Him and I, we went to high school together, and you will see in the conversation we have like a chemistry and dynamic that can't be matched. And I think that every time him and I get together, have a conversation that I think everybody needs to hear. So it's amazing to see how much this brother has grown and matured since him and I have first met, and since 2016, 2017, from high school until after college, and now we're both graduated. So listen and learn a little something, and I hope you guys enjoy.
My journey has brought me to an understanding of the divine forces with which we have all been bestowed. It was in this search that I came upon a revelation, which has called me to guide millions of people towards their righteous destiny.
That my guy Zeke, used to be known as my roommate, then became my friend, then became my brother.
Come
How's
it going,
bro? How's it
Yeah.
going? I'm doing good, bro. How you doing?
Good, man. I can't complain. It's a everyday, taking every day as it comes, enjoying the process, loving it.
Beautiful, bro. Before we get started, I want to actually have you just introduce yourself through the introduction of who Zeke is.
Right. So my name's Ezekiel. Most people just call me Zeke. Like Hawk said, we've been on this journey since high school, known him since, track in high school, kind of went through that process, went to college together. And yeah, I'm a regular person. I'm nobody special. Everybody could have this kind of like saying, or, they may know something about me, this and that. But overall, I'm just somebody who's here to learn, somebody who's here to, gain as much knowledge while I'm here in this earthly form. And being able to do this process and being invited in on this journey by Hawk, I've been able to understand that everybody's walk may be different, but it's so similar in the sense of the trials that we go through and the difficulties that we have. So I'm just a regular person here to speak on behalf of all the other regular people here.
That's probably the greatest introduction I've ever heard in my life, bro. That was well said. And of course, you and I went ahead and started a group chat for the cleanse for Ramadan. And
Yep.
I just want to go ahead and ask you first, just to start it off, is why did you even first start fasting in the first place?
I say it's multiple reasons. So I'm gonna give you my first one, which is obviously you. You have a powerful presence, just as many other people, I would probably say. And just seeing you be able to do it for so many years at the level at which you did it, and to go through college and track and have all these, and boxing and all these other avenues of what people were already considered difficult, regardless of fasting, doing that and having that discipline and that purpose. I said, why can I not implement this in my life, and try it and see what it does for me? Excuse me. And then on the other hand, I think personally I needed some time to, as you said, cleanse. When you sent it and you said we're going on a cleanse versus just saying, we're fasting for Ramadan. You said we're going on a cleanse. And I said that was the perfect word I needed to hear. And I needed some time to, take some of the distractions out of my life, some of the dopamine that I was getting all the time. It was just, my mind was so clouded. And like I said, just this past year after being out of school, there's been so many things that's been happening in my life. And I just wanted that time to reset and figure out where I was at. And especially, I don't know, I'm sure we're going to get into this later, but I just wanted to say it's crazy. The time of when Ramadan is in such a powerful time, because it goes from really winter going into spring, which is a natural transition period. So to see that, I kind of noticed that as I was doing it too, as you realize, as you go through Ramadan, it gets warmer and you get better energies and things like that. I actually felt a shift in myself with the earth as I was practicing this. I don't know if y'all get that or not, but wow, I actually felt it.
Nah, bro, that's an interesting way to put it. I never even noticed it. That's an interesting way to put it.
because when it comes to Ramadan, usually it's on a lunar calendar. So
Right.
for this time, it's like every 30 years is gonna be back into winter. So this time is gonna
Mm-hmm.
be like you said, from winter into basically into the spring. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a good way to look at it, bro. You just basically transition into the season with the seasons in terms of your oneself basically. And I know
Exactly.
that for someone you and I think you and I we got close because our conversations are always deep, right?
Right.
Even freshman year. Matter of fact, even before that, I think you and I first really met on that bus coming back from the track meet. And
Right.
that's when you and I and Adama really got down and deep into our conversations. And I want to ask you, with these past 2 weeks, going on three, in terms of your spiritual self, what have you noticed?
Mm. Okay, so I say my journey, even though like you said we've been practicing Ramadan, 2 to 3 weeks. Just for the past 2 months, I've been getting heavy into stoicism. As I kind of put in the group chat, I've been
Mm,
kind of dropping, just little things. I was reading this book called The Mystic Path to Cosmic Power. And it basically just, as a culmination, just talks about our true self and who the true version of who we are is. And
mm,
so many of the things that the book tells us to practice or to try are so many things that you have to practice for yourself in Ramadan. So as I've been going through it, I've realized that a lot of the things that you kind of block your mind with are things that you actually want to get away from, if that makes sense. So like a lot of like my distractions that I had, the heaviest thing, whether it be social media or kind of like those comparisons that I make to other people or watching where other people are actually the things that I wanted to get away from. So
mm,
I say the biggest thing spiritually that I've understood is um, I'd say you have to love yourself the way you want to be loved, love others the way in which you love yourself. So that means not necessarily trying to go out and do what you think other people want you to do, but loving from a place in which you can love. So, and you can only do that when you understand yourself a little more. So taking the time and seeing where you truly are, who you are, and just taking those aspects and applying them. I say that's probably the biggest thing I've learned spiritually while being on this journey.
that's beautiful, bro. That is
What what,
beautiful.
what would you say you've seen? Because my biggest thing that I've like kind of been going through is more physical, just like my body, like as I'm getting older, just different things that you gotta, what I'm saying, it's a different way you have to take care of yourself than when you were younger, and what I'm saying, different things like that. So have you noticed any, like, also on your spiritual level, but any other changes that you noticed as you fasted multiple times throughout your life? Have you noticed do I have to do it a different way than I did before? That's something I wanted to know.
That's interesting you asked me that, bro. Because I was thinking about this other day. I was sitting down here, of course, like I work from home. So I was sitting down, and of course, I told you before how I realized how much I was eating when I was bored.
Right.
And you're asking me about like how I fasted since I started fasting till now. And one thing that I've noticed is that when I was fasting when I was younger, I was watching the clock and focusing on when I could eat again.
Right.
But now when I'm fasting now, I'm enjoying the process of it. I'm
Mm,
enjoying those stomach pains. I'm
right.
enjoying the fact that right now I'm taking the conscious effort of not putting anything into my body, but everybody else out there is doing that every day.
Mm,
So that's one thing that I've noticed. Another thing I noticed is also when it comes to that's probably my spiritual self, but when it comes to my health, one thing that I noticed is that I'm watching what I put into my body after I fast a little bit more. And
mm,
before I was just like, once I finish the fast, where's the sugar? I'm with the cakes, the sodas, whatever I can get to actually get back that sugar high.
right.
But now I'm looking at it now, I'm thinking like, okay, well, you know what? Even though I might want those things, but I'm actually need fruits, vegetables, and a lot of water. So that's one thing that I've definitely noticed since fasting for the past, 14 years.
Right. Yeah. And I say that's something that I've noticed too. And even though, like I said, this is only my first time fasting, but it's funny. It feels like I know it's my first time, but it feels like I've done it 1,000 times. So
Mm,
when
interesting.
the way you're saying, like, I watch what I eat after, I can already tell in the sense of my mind is saying, Zeke, your fast doesn't stop when Ramadan ends. And that's why I said my fast didn't even start when Ramadan started. it's been going on. I've been going through this, I say, this cycle and this journey for, you know what I'm saying, probably going on 3 to 4 months, just
Mm,
personally. And it wasn't even necessarily a sense of like, oh, like I'm, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, I didn't even know that we were going to do this cleanse, but I could just tell as I've been following my faith a lot more. So I could just tell when this came up, when this opportunity presented itself, I had to take it. I had to do it, use it and see what it'll bring me. But that was an interesting point that you said, um, kind of about in the spiritual sense. I do feel that I do feel that way too about I was looking to get right back to it, right back to the highs most of the time. But now it's like I'm enjoying the process of certain things. I'm time. That was really the biggest thing, was time. Um, I look at time differently now. I look at it as if, instead of just watching the clock, when is it gonna be over? When is it gonna be over? When can I get back to this? I'm actually enjoying moments. I'm looking at moments differently. Just even
mm.
this, like we would have so many conversations, and I knew when we had conversations, we would be in the moment. And those are the things that I'm looking for more now, is to be in the moment.
Can I just say this, bro? And I hope it's not off topic, bro. I was gonna say,
Right.
bro, like one thing that I admire about you, Zeke, is since you and I were living together back freshman year and having those deep conversations, one thing that I noticed is that every single year you became more and more conscious. I'm not sure if you saw the movie Lucy, but it seems
Wow.
like every single year you just upgrade in oneself. And I think that one thing for you, and you tell me if I'm tripping, for me personally, I think that leaving school and going back home was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. I think that that process of going to school, learning all those things, not only when it comes to education, right? Just being on my own for the 4 or 5 years, then going back home, living with my parents, and actually being a little bit more grounded in those moments, I tend to see like, okay, now I get it. Now I
Right.
understand what I'm doing here and what I actually needed. Because I feel like in a certain sense, like school, college was a little bit of a distraction in a certain sense. Because when
Yeah.
it comes to college, I was focused on things that were somewhat detrimental to oneself. So I guess I'm kind of
Mhm.
rambling, but how do you feel like finishing college? You graduated,
Mhm.
congratulations, you graduated. So now, because bro, you've matured so much since the last time you and I actually spoke, and I want to know what has changed. What have you noticed? Like, I just want to know. I don't. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, first I want to say I appreciate that, because I ain't gonna lie, I almost got a little teary eyed when you said that, just because it's crazy. Like, you don't notice what you're doing until it's done. But the fact
Mm,
that you said I seem more conscious every year as we talk and as the years go on, is simply because the people around me are gods. You are all gods to me, and that's how I look at it. And everything that I see from you guys, I see you guys grow. I have to find and apply the knowledge that I get from you guys, and that's how I feel about everything. Everything that I see and that I go through, I have to find the lesson and the meaning and the purpose in it, and use it and share it in the best way that I can. So I say the consciousness I get is again from all of you, and from the countless gods that I encountered throughout my life. Um, but man, I'd say the shift for me, it's gonna sound crazy, but my shift, I feel like, has been the most humbling moment of my life so far. Leaving school, um, because for me, ending school was like, okay, I did it finally. Thank God, like I finished it. I was so ready to be gone from that place. Like you said, I think there was a lot of distractions in school. I feel like there was a lot of distractions that I was involving myself with to either pass the time or to, kind of just cope with like the pressures of school and all these other things. And after getting away from it, getting back home, I felt like, wow, did I really use my time wisely or properly?
mm,
Um, and that was a big thing for me. But I'd say overall, like you said, I have become more grounded, and the time I spend with my family is more precious. But I think that also just comes with age. Like I said, I feel like we're going through a change in of our bodies and of ourselves, and it's like, man, I have to be more conscious of what I eat. I have to be more conscious of what my parents eat. I want to make sure they're here to see my grandkids. I want to, like, these are the things that I'm thinking about now versus me being 19, 20. in school, that wasn't the thing that was on my mind. But my transition was difficult but eye opening. I think it's been really helpful. So it's going up on a year. To be a year in May since graduating, but I feel like it's been 10 years. It just felt like that long. Like it's feel like so many things have happened in that span of time. But I feel like I've been just on go. Like for me, it's been school, had a month off, went straight to camp, came back from camp, got my apartment, started 2 jobs, left one, started something else, started a venture. So it's just been, kind of just on the go, like, but taking this time in this past couple of weeks just to sit down and stop and breathe showed me like, man, you made it through a lot. You've done a lot. Like, be proud, look at it. Don't be so worrisome about, the end goal. That's what I've been trying to stop worrying about so much, is that every piece of this journey is important. So
yes,
that's probably, that's where I say, even though the journey to me over the past, like, of leaving school has felt difficult, I appreciate it.
Mm. So, you mentioned, your own ventures and everything else. How has fasting helped you in terms of focusing and creating ideas? Has it helped you in any?
I say, of course. Like I said, it's almost like your mind's fogged a lot of the time. And when you're fast, it doesn't automatically clear it, but it gives you the ability to do it. I feel like there's other things you have to do besides just fasting, obviously. And I feel like it takes meditation, it takes breath work, it takes, sitting in your own thoughts. I feel like my best friend has become silence. That's something that I've learned the most through fasting is you have to be willing to sit in silence and understand who you are and where you are. And it comes with acceptance. It comes with grace, with gratitude. And I feel like my prayers have changed since fasting. I don't pray for things. I don't pray for items. Like, I pray for peace. I pray for strength. And like you always told me, it's one thing that you told me that always stick with me. It's like, you can pray for strength and God gives you, times in which to be strong. You will ask for grace and he'll give you times in which you must be graceful. You know what I'm saying? And things like that. So that was something that I've been trying to bring into my life. And I feel like I've been getting those things. Some of them are difficult, but all of them give me that thing that I wanted at the end. I get to learn how to use my peace and learn how to use my strength. So.
But that's beautiful, bro. That is beautiful. And I want to ask you, bro, like, because I think that, and I always mention this all the time, when it comes to the mind, body, and spirit. And I think that there's not really anything, because you can go outside right now and ask somebody, what do you do to improve your body? Oh, I go to the gym. Okay, what do you do to improve your mind? Oh, I read books. Okay, what do you do to improve your soul and spirit? Then at that point, then it's like, wait, what do I do? So I'm coming to actually ask you, like, with this fast, what have you noticed anything that you were missing before when it comes to your spiritual self and actually having those 3 things in line?
I say that's probably the hardest question you've asked. I wish I would have sat down more and thought about the aspect of that change. I say, yeah, I've noticed. Wow, that's a good one. That's a good one. I ain't gonna lie. That's a tough one. Yeah, I think I've noticed it. Noticed that that I am more in tune with it. I feel like okay, I got it now. So I was watching this video. It's named Prophet Lovi. I just watched it maybe, if not 24 hours ago. I watched this video. I'm getting a haircut, and my friend decided to show me this video. And he was just saying that spiritually, we are to really be able to connect with your spirit, you have to let go of the physical and your mind. You have to let it go. So when you say those things lining up, I've actually had to let a lot of it go and not focus on where my mind is and where my body is, and truly be where my spirit is. And my spirit is everywhere. It's everywhere. It's everywhere I've been. So thinking about it, I say I've become more in tune with my spirit and not, I want to say out of tune with my body, but your spirit carries over so much to who you are and how you feel and, you know, and physically where you are. So I say I've been looking more at that and focusing heavily on my spirit. So I've been trying to do that a lot more. And yeah, like it's been so many things. There's so many things I could just say about it, but it drag on and I get into a whole another conversation. But yeah, I've noticed the lining up of it. I think it takes a lot of time. I feel like I'm very new in this avenue and of trying to do this. So I think it'll come as I kind of get past this next section of it and trying to transition back into my, not saying regular life, because I want to apply these things every day. Like I said, I don't want to just fast for Ramadan and go back to the sugar highs and go back to the, you know, the things that were so detrimental. Like honestly, like we've been saying for years, like I want to be done with social media at a point to where I don't want to just endlessly scroll and feel like this is where my life is. I don't want to wake up and pick up my phone. That'd be the first thing I do. So I think I'll really notice when they line up as I keep practicing.
Like you mentioned, it just comes with time and age, and that's a thing that I think that you and I have in common. I think with our generation, we tend to make it seem like being old is like the worst thing ever. But I think you and I seem to look like being old is the most blessed thing ever. And I think the reason why I say that is because I think once the older you get, the more in line you become, and the more wise you become as well. I think that when it comes to mind, body, and soul, the more wise you get. But yeah, bro, I think that the reason why I want to actually have you guys in this fast in the first place is because I think that our generation has become a little bit too materialistic, and a little too focused on like, and you said this at the beginning of the call, bro, and that blew my mind when you said it. When you said in this, I think you said in this worldly life for right now, right?
Right.
Because you understand that we're not going to be here forever, right?
Right.
So in this, while we're here right now, we need to prepare for the next, right? To the next realm, the next dimension that we'll be in. And I think that when it comes to this fasting thing, and actually understanding that, you tend to understand that, okay, you know what? One of the most important things for the human body is water and food. For me to be able to actually put those things to the side for 12 hours plus time, I can then be able to become a little bit more disciplined in this life. So that wasn't really a question, but I think I was just giving my ideas on what you said because you said it so perfectly. But yeah, bro, like yeah, I was just rambling a little bit, but yeah, bro,
Nah,
that was perfect.
it's
That was
crazy.
perfect.
Like all I can say is like, man, I just appreciate it. Like I said, I've been kind of on not even on this, like I keep saying journey, but like I said, I've been on this journey for a while. But like when I tell you, like stoicism in of a sense has just helped me so much of like just understanding like the problems that I've been facing recently. Just like, man, like it's okay. Like this isn't where you end up. This isn't the only thing that happens. There's so much more things that'll occur, and you just have to be willing to accept. Like, okay, like there may be a few months when I can't do this and I can't enjoy this. That's fine. Accept it. Know that you can enjoy this time, and when it comes back, you can enjoy that too. Like there's I feel like we get caught up in the high of life, and it's like, oh man, I go from being able to afford all these things and have all these things for so long, and then I don't have that access anymore. Did I lose? Have I lost something? No, it's changed. I've learned that that's a big quote that I learned too is there's no such thing as loss, only change. So never feel as if you're losing something. It's just a type of change. It's a different type of change. And you always have everything you need. Like you said, our bodies, we need food and water. When you go down to those necessities and you understand that's really what you truly need, everything else, and you push everything else to the side, you have everything all the time. You are everything. So just understanding your God sense and who you are was so big for me and so big in this portion of like of what we're doing. And just having this, like you making this group of people that are on the same page is so big to especially our generation. Like I admire, like you said, even if you, I mean, well, again, like I appreciate any type of love or appreciation that you have for the things that I've done or that you've seen me grow and do. I have the same admiration for what you've done because, man, there's so many things that I've seen you do that I'll be like, man, I wish I just had the strength, or I wish I had the ability to kind of make these things happen. And I look at it and I'm like, man, like who's to say I can't? And there's so many things that I've tried because of meeting people like you and Roy and all these other people and that have helped us kind of shape. Hopefully, I feel like we will be the next great leaders of this generation. I know we are. We had this conversation all the time. So I know that eventually we're gonna be the ones who have to teach our generation. So I say it starts here. I say it starts young. I say, like you said, man, I enjoy getting old. It comes with wisdom. I enjoy getting older. It comes with, more faith. So I've been just sitting here like, man, like I'm 23. Who's to say? Who knows what I'll be when I'm 30? Who knows what I'll be when I'm 35, when I'm 40? If I keep on this same kind of path, not worrying about, man, I ain't rich yet. I ain't got $1 million yet. It's gonna come when it needs to. And if it's not in my cards to be a millionaire, I'll be a billionaire. Don't worry about it. So that's all I'm saying here. I've been thinking about, like I said, I've been alone with my thoughts for the most part of the fast. I've been trying to not necessarily keep people out of my circle or out of my life, but again, like I said, I wanted to be with myself in this time, kind of to really get where I am. And it's mind blowing. There's so many things. Like I'm mad that we can only have this conversation for so long. But there's so many good things that come out of this that I would just encourage anybody to try it. And you don't have to be of faith to do it. You have to have faith in yourself. I say that's the biggest thing. But like even with the app that you showed me, I've been reading like the verses. I'll read some of the daily verses that just pop up on my phone. And like you said, I find it interesting that, church for you guys is on Friday, for Jewish is on Saturday, and Christians on Sunday. Then you realize every day should be a day of praise for everyone. And that's how I kind of treat it now. Like what makes a day able to be praised? And I feel like it's just your ability to get up and praise it. So it comes with a lot, man, but it's been a great journey.
A lot of exposure, bro. A lot of exposure. You touched on a lot right there, and I guess like one of the things that I wanted to actually talk about a little bit was the stoicism, and I can tell that you're trying to actually implement that into your life. And one thing for me when it comes to stoicism is two things that I really noticed. Well, honestly, maybe even three. I think the three things probably going to be like patience, necessity, and patience, necessity. Can't think of the other one right now. Kind of set my thoughts.
Right.
So with this right here, and when it comes to stoicism and fasting, and you mentioned it before, but I want you to see if you could go a little bit deeper on it. Like, what are some things that you have actually implemented from stoicism into this, or what are some things that, in terms of, for example, how has patience affected you during this fast, or when it comes to stoicism, how has you being able to accept what has happened to say, like, you know what, it is what it is. I don't cry for spilled milk, or what are some things that you actually correlate?
Okay, so that's a good question because actually that's something I was thinking about before we even got on this call. But from stoicism, mostly what I've gotten is your true self. You have a true self and a false self. And for many people that indulge in a lot of things like that, for the sense would be considered, negative to our bodies. Stoicism says we are not those things. We are not fear. We are not anger. And the biggest thing that I learned from stoicism was that you can no longer connect emotions to I. No longer say I feel angry. I feel hungry. I am sad. You no longer connect those things to I. You say it, because there's a different version of yourself that does not accept that. Your true version of yourself is never sad, is never angry, is never fearful. your true self is light itself. So when I read the poem, and I always loved this poem and I always knew I loved it for a reason, but it always said our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate, it's that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We sit so much, we don't realize, but we sit so much time in our darkness and we think that is our light, and it talks to us so much and it says the things we want to hear so much that we think that's the truth. But Stoicism has taught me you have to separate your mind from certain things. You have to separate certain thoughts. And I think that connects into the fast so much, because when I have the thoughts of like, and it sounds so good, your false self will tell you things and it'll sound so good because it'll say, oh, we can just eat one piece of this. Like what's hurting from if nobody knows that I had this? Or what if I just break fast a little early today? Am I really losing anything? And it sounds so good because it'll make you say, well, you'll get back up tomorrow and we'll do it right the next day. And those are actually like false versions of yourself telling you these things. So Stoicism teaches you to catch yourself in moments of misunderstanding and to apply yourself and to really be in control of the decisions you make, because it's like this thing. I was watching a video. I can't remember the name of the guy, but he's really popular, speaker. He always talks about a lot of different, powerful topics. But he said your brain can't comprehend the negative. Your brain can never comprehend the negative. He says, don't think about an elephant right now. And what's the first thing you're going to think about? An elephant. So when your mind tells you certain things like, oh, don't do this or don't do that, you still think about it. So it's being able to sit there and realize, okay, man, why is my brain telling me, why is my brain telling me this? Why do I feel like I need to do this? And being able to, kind of channel those thoughts into a different place. But Stoicism has been super helpful for me. Like I said, it's been helping me kind of cope with a lot of anxieties that I've been having. And those anxieties kind of spilled over into like my everyday life, and using Stoicism and this fast together is like a superpower. It's like focus on focus. Like you're able to look at things and analyze them. And I've been so grateful. Like I said, I had to get you the book. I'll definitely send you a copy of it, because it's just like I say, that was the first book I've read completely since I was in middle school. Let's say, probably, we're gonna be honest, probably the first book I've read in its entirety, page to page, like front to cover, and it just has so many powerful tips and ways that you should live your life that directly reflect what we're trying to do now. So, like I said, I've been. Stoicism has just been a powerful guide. The patience aspect, I say the patience comes in. That's a self thing. I say it's more I was trying to learn how to have patience with myself, because so many times I would get angry at myself for faults or for looking like a fool, I would say, for certain things. Like you say, like for so many things, I had to separate kind of like, so many people would say to me like, oh, Zeke, you're so smart. Zeke, like you know these things. And I'd be like, yeah, like I am smart, this, that, and the third. But I was taking it in of a sense and inflating myself with it, to where I was like, I can never look wrong. I can never be wrong in front of someone. I can never not know the answer, or I can't ask questions, because then I'll look as if I am not smart. So that was another version of my false self, trying to be like, you have to be a genius at all times. But being a genius is understanding that you know so little about everything. You really truly know nothing. So I had to learn how to have patience with myself, and I feel like fasting has done that for me, because I no longer want to be like, yeah, I'm the smart. Even if I am the smartest guy in the room, I want to be the quietest so that I can learn the most. So that's where my patience, I think, comes from.
Oh, that's beautiful, bro. That is beautiful. We have about 2 minutes, and I don't want it to cut off, because you having some gems right now. This is the reason why I need 1 million views, bro, for sure. So I guess like the last thing I want to say, because I know it'll probably be a little bit, hefty, but what is one thing that you want people to know about Zeke? Let's say, God forbid, you were to pass away tomorrow. What is one thing that you want people to know about Zeke?
Wow. I want people to know that I failed. I failed over and over. Every single time I tried something, I failed. And whether or not those failures to other people look like successes, they were failures. And if you're willing to do anything and you love anything enough, you'll try it and you'll fail at it. And I want people to know that it's not difficult to love. It's not difficult to be a good person. For so many of us, of this skin tone, of this, you know, this melanin gift, we think that, especially in our culture, in our society, that we must be tough, we must be difficult, we must put on a face and a facade. But I let people know every day that I'm, you know, I'm a God, and of that sense, I must be peaceful. I must be understanding of all people. I understand difficulties. I understand trials of other people, and I don't want anyone to ever think that I am judging them, because I understand so much of what that is like. So I just want people to know that I was someone who loved, wanted to be loved, and was never afraid to fail.
That's beautiful, bro. Zeke, I want to thank you for this call, and we will get on here again. We have to get on here again. Safe route forever, the safe way.
Yo, thank you for watching. Yes, I'm in the closet. I need some more quiet. Anyways, please like, please subscribe. I got more stuff coming, more workouts, more motivation, and more intellect. See you guys next time. Assalamu alaikum.